Okay, I'd like to do a before and after. The pond is going pretty well, at least biologically. Unfortunately, there are a lot of really large particulates in the water, which I don't like, and it's just not very clear. So it's not as clear as I want it to be. That is kind of one of the issues with having a mixed pond with goldfish, or excuse me, with whatever types of fish. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to clear this up a little bit. If you look really close at this water, although it's kind of difficult to see with the reflection, you can see all this really, really heavy particulate matter that's in here. See this right here? This stuff? This is floating around everywhere. And I think it has to do with my family overfeeding these fish, along with that and other dissolved organics. It's just stuff I want to get out. It ruins the clarity. So the little filter that we got going on here just isn't cutting anymore. So inside here is just a container that holds biological media, and I can filter out parts of it, but I'd have to clear it out like every couple weeks. So we're putting in a swirl filter, and this is the log of what it's going to look like after it's done. So other than that, continuing on. Hello and welcome to part 1 of the filter redesign. I have these two canisters. I'm not sure what the gallons are them, but this is what's going to be my new filter. I'm going to make one a swirl filter to handle the heavy particulates, and the other one's going to be a biological media storage filter that's going to feed from the bottom. So I thought I'd start with video number 1 and tell you where I started with, and try and record each step and each issue that I ran across, so that if you feel so inclined to make yourself a swirl filter and biological canister filter, you can see what I did and move from there. Thank you very much. Okay, progress thus far. This is what I've done. So far I've removed the old stuff from the previous container that I got used from somebody else. They had a hole on the side of it. I'll use this as the input for my container. You can tell where they didn't have bulkhead fittings, and they tried to attach pipes and just sealed it with sealant. I don't know how long this tried to last, but it didn't look like it lasted very long. So this just peels right off. It doesn't really seal very well, so you have to use what are called, I call them bulkhead fittings. They'll probably have a more specific name in a hardware store, but what they look like are these right here. This is a 3/4 fitting. I'm going to put these 3/4 on the bottom. Down here is my drains, so that I can clean these out, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be filled with muck. But that's what's going to be on the bottom. So what I'm going to use is my exits on the top right now are 1 inch. So I have 1 inch bulkheads. They look a little different. This one right here, this particular style, I got from Home Depot. And it was, let's say like 13 or like $12.99 or something like that, or maybe it was from Lowe's. I don't know, but both of those sell it for really expensive. I got this at an independent store for $8.99 until this giant truck passes. Sorry about that. Anyway. So for $8.99 you can get a little bulkhead fitting. What you're really looking for are these two connectors. They're going to have a rubber, I guess a washer inside here. You see this? This little washer. So that washer is what you're looking for. That's going to make it so it's going to be a tight fit, and it's going to last a long time on the inside of your container. So if you can see right there. So then you just take any piece of PVC attachment. This one's particularly 1 inch. So this is 1 inch going into a 1 inch fitting. So this is going to be my exit for my biological portion of the filter. So anyway, the little pieces of PVC are pretty inexpensive. They're 75 cents a piece. But this guy right here in my hand is $8.99, and the one I got from Home Depot is like $14. So shop around if you're on a budget. Anyway, that is the latest so far. Also, to cut the hole, I used a saw blade, or saw drill, I guess you could call it. And it is 1 7/8 1 7/8 cutting hole, because if you cut it too big, it won't fit right. You cut it too small, it won't fit through the hole. So this is the one that I used for a 1-inch exit, which is 1 7/8 millimeter, I guess, or is it 18 millimeter? Or no, 48 millimeter. That's what it is. There it is. That's it. All right, quick swirl filter update. Swirl/biological filter update. We have, I say we, it's actually been me, I've installed a small bulkhead fitting. This is a 3/4 inch bulkhead, similar to the one I was talking about previously. Installed it on the bottom here, and right now I am filling it up to make sure that it doesn't leak. I've sealed it pretty good on both sides, although I wasn't able really to get inside very well because it was just my 10-year-old that I bribed with $5 to climb inside and hold the other side. So we'll see if it holds up or not. But that's essentially the bulkhead right there. And then I've blue glued it up until here, and this will be where the drain comes out. This is a very similar situation, exactly the same. Similar bulkhead, exactly the same. So these two have holes in the side, bulkhead here, bulkhead here. These two are going to connect, and this will be the overflow from in this hole. So I filled it up. You can see the bottom down there where the other side of the bulkhead is. We're seeing if it holds water right now. I haven't actually sealed this together, so it probably will leak, but this is where I'm actually going to cut this off a little bit more, because this is going to be my input from the pond. This is, again, that previous hole that I talked about that somebody had ran something through and didn't attach a bulkhead through it. So we're just using that as the entry for our input, because it's the only defect of this particular piece of equipment. So this is going to be shorter down, and what we're going to do is it's going to be a surface filter. The water pressure is going to come through here and swirl around, and large particulates are going to be pushed towards the outside, and up here at the top where the least amount of particulates in the center will be my return. Very simple. This fills up full of garbage down there at the bottom, which I then empty every so often. So it is a swirl filter. This guy is where going to be my biological filter is going to be. It's going to be a little bit more complicated. Right now I'm still filling it up with the hose, making sure that it's going to hold water. This is my return. I haven't run the plumbing for this yet, and we're still working on that. So this is where the input's going to be. It's going to be down and then, excuse me, it's going to be out and then down, and that's going to be where the water comes in from the swirl filter over to here and then downward, so that when the water overflows from this section, comes across, it's going to go straight down because of negative pressure, and the water exiting here at the top will cause like a slight suction type thing. You'll see, it'll work. And that's going to go here, and that's the exit. And this will be very similar, that it's going to cruise across the top and then up and then basically take from there. So my biological media will be in here, and I have a couple ideas on how to do that, which I haven't fished out yet. This is the previous filter, my tetramarine ultraviolet algae thing, which has worked really great, by the way. So this is a really good product. Not that I'm paid by Tetra Pond at all, but I think the thing was like $100, and it was well worth the money. Turned my very, very green pond into a very, very dirty, not green pond. So there we go. But this is my biological filter. As you can tell, it is not very much, especially for this level of fish load that I have in here. So we're going to start this bad boy out. Okay, on to the next update. Alright, so the filter is 99% done. Just have to put the lids on it and finish up what I was doing. So what we've done is, this is the input, which comes from the impeller right here on the side. Excuse me, the mag pump down there. So that's just a simple mag pump. All it is just pumping water up and over, and then through here, and then it runs into, as earlier mentioned, the Tetra Pond, a UV light thing that removes the algae. So it runs into that guy, which that was pretty easy to set up. You just had to match up the fittings, and I did a step down. So I'm doing 3/4 or 3/4, as they call it, into 1 inch or 1 1/4. Anyway, it was easy step down. All I did is have these little adjuster brackets. Just get them at the plumbing store. Yeah, so then it goes over to here. And I'm not 100% done with this yet, but this is where it's going to be. It comes through this hole, which earlier mentioned was not my doing, but someone else did it. And it's pouring into this, at which point it begins its swirl into the pond. So, well, not the pond, but into the swirl filter. I'm not really 100% liking this swirl. If I had a more powerful pump, I could make it swirl better, but it is twisting, which is something better than nothing. It is twisting in a counterclockwise fashion. So this is a surface skimmer, which I've always kind of wanted to set up anyway, because it's a real efficient way of getting oxygen into the water. Remember, everything on the sheet of the surface of the water is what actually puts in oxygen into there, not so much bubbles or anything like that. It's simply just how much you can break the surface tension. If you're breaking the surface tension, you're introducing the oxygen into the water at a more efficient rate. So a surface skimmer essentially sucks in all of the immediate oxygen and then powers it into there, which it then exits to this. This is one of these little combiners. This is so that I can take it apart later if I need to clean this out or whatever. I just basically, it's a joiner. So I undo this part, untwist it, and I can take it apart. It then goes into this bad mamma jamma, and I will discuss the Christmas tree effect here in just a moment. But it's shooting downward into this guy. I wanted it to go further down, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way. So I'm going to sort that out later. But this is also a surface skimmer, is what's my return. So very simple, surface skimmer, so on and so forth. You get it. So I'll talk about the Christmas tree. This is my chemical media. There's some sponges in here. Everything that used to be my biological filter inside my canister, or inside of the box, wherever the box went. This is the lid. It's going back into it. And then I got my return, which is shooting water into the pond. The pond is looking pretty grungy at the moment. That's just because I've disturbed all this biological media. So let me talk about the Christmas tree. This is one that I'm about to put inside, but I got about 6 in there right now. So this is essentially going to be inside of the pond, or excuse me, inside the biological canister. I'm just hanging it from the top, and it floats downward. So remember, the rules for biological filtration is very, very porous material. Sometimes people use brushes, hair curlers, whatever. I'm happening to use this type of gritty material that they put around trees. It's like a rubber, it's a synthesized rubber. It's a recycled rubber that I just tied knots around here. This is another chemical filtration bag, just carbon, activated carbon. It gets all the impurities of the water, makes it look kind of more clear, or any kind of the heavy metals. But other than that, there's just more of these, so I'll essentially tie this to the top, and it'll sit in there, and water will flow around it, and all the little bacteria and what will break down the fish poop. That's it. That is the Christmas tree. So this is the new and improved biological filter. So swirl filter, biological filter, fish pond. I want you to take note on what it looks like right here. When I give my update, you'll notice it will be a lot clearer. So until then. Okay, so this is 2 days, no, excuse me, 4 days? 4 days of the filter running. I haven't changed out the carbon yet, that's why it's kind of still yellow, but I'm planning on doing that next. But you can tell it is cleared up quite a bit. You can see the ground, the bottom, pretty well. So you can see the leaves, even though there's a harsh reflection going on here. I'll go on the other side. And my fish are tripping out. But yeah, seems to be running pretty good. So that's my flow that I have going right there. Still haven't covered this up a little bit better, but give me some time. I'll sort it out, put some plants in front of this or something like that. But the swirl filter is fully running, and I'm doing all right. Let's see the other side. Maybe it was less glare. Yeah, that's the water clarity. There's a little baby fish at the bottom. My shibunkins had little babies. You can see them now, which is nice, but it's damn near crystal clear at this point. See the clarity? So, swirl filter success. And that's it. Hopefully you can see the clarity. Sorry about the glare. Yeah.